Hi guys, welcome back to reworked TV and welcome to this rather striking BMW M2 finished in Toronto red. Now, we've already featured the M2 on the channel. If you want to see that video, please use the link in the top of the screen. Now there's something a little bit different about this M2 and you're probably seeing in the title, it's a manual. So, before I talk to you why I'm driving an M2 again and why the manual, let's just take a little walk and talk. Now then, this is pretty striking. Toronto red with all the M Performance bits. So you've got carbon little fins down here, you've got the silver wheels with the red calipers, more carbon here, M Performance along the side, carbon fibre here, carbon there, and then round the rear, it's quite drastically different. You have the carbon fibre rear wing here, the carbon sort of blades here, and then a very controversial, weird M Performance exhaust. I mean, what do you guys think of the look of the new M2? See, we spoke about it a little bit in our original big review. I think it certainly suits this colour quite a lot better. I mean, it's very, very striking. It's growing on me. It is really growing on me. And then the interior of this one, not yet. I've yet to see one with the full carbon seats. This one again has the usual M Performance buckets and the usual sort of carbon trim and M paddles and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into too much about that today because, as I say, we've done a full in-depth walk around and drive of the new M2. Links in the top of the screen. I'm here because of this. Yes, that, and there's 3 pedals. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this car to weigh in onto a little debate. The auto versus manual debate. So let's jump inside and let's go for a little chat. So that is the question. And let's firstly start by talking about the M2 and how it fits with the auto or the manual. I've driven the new M2 quite a lot now, both on and off camera, and I love it. Yes, the looks are still a little bit contentious, as I've already explained, but there's no doubt that it is a brilliant car to drive. And now I've spent quite a bit of time in both the auto and the manual M2. Which would I have, and what are the differences between them? Well, for me, I am firmly in the auto camp, and I know that the comments are going to give me a load of stick for that. There's going to be people going, oh, you're not a real driver unless you have a manual. The manual feels so much more engaging, and I will admit, the manual does definitely feel more engaging. You do feel a little more of a sense of connection to the car. You feel part of it. You feel like you're attached to it. You have far more involvement in the driving experience than you do in the auto. You've obviously got an extra pedal. You've got the connection of using this stick down here, which obviously a lot of cars are getting away from, and this might well be the last BMW M product with one, which is why obviously people are making such a big deal about it. But now this is the contentious thing. This is the bit that's probably going to get me a lot of hate. Why are we so caught up on manuals? Oh, I'm going to get some hate for that. But hear me out. So when we come to the M2, both cars are brilliant. There's no doubt about that. They're both so quick, and I do like that you can drop it down and give it some beans. And I really like the auto blip feature on this, so when you drop it down, it rev matches. It is such a phenomenal car, these things. I love the new M2, I really do. But yes, let's go back to the original question, the autos or the manuals. So for me, I think it entirely depends on how you're going to use the car. I mean, I personally would always have an auto, even if it was something that I wasn't really going to use that much. However, I do see the appeal of the manual gearbox. And if you were going to have, say for example this, an M2, just to use at weekends and for little blasts here and there, then fair enough. You're probably going to get everything you want from the manual gearbox. You're going to feel more involved in the car. You're going to feel more at one with it. You might have, I don't know, a little bit more fun, depends on how you want to drive. You can definitely make the car misbehave a lot more with the manual gearbox. But for me, I just think the auto is a far more all-round package, because you can use it every single day far easier. I'm not saying that you can't use the manual, but I don't know about you, but I find it a little bit tiresome. Maybe I'm just getting lazy. I just find it a little bit tiresome constantly having to change gear, manage the clutch, always know what gear to be in. I think it may be because we're spoiled with just driving automatics all the time now, because everything is an auto, let's be honest. Everything now basically is an automatic gearbox. But I just feel, I don't know, I feel like you can definitely drive far quicker with the auto. The auto is way quicker to drive, and unless you are obviously an incredibly capable driver, which I am not, you're going to be going way quicker in the auto. Fuel consumption is better in the automatic. Your 0 to 62 time is better in the automatic. And I don't know, I just feel more comfortable in the auto than I do with the manual box. I'm going to get I can get so much stick for this. But I just think, as a day-to-day thing that I just want to be in, I want ease. I want my performance car to be easy to drive, and then when I want it to really be able to enjoy it and not have to constantly, well, do this, constantly changing gear up and down. And yes, a lot of people do like that, and it is quite satisfying in this car. The gearbox in BMW M cars, it's a little notchy, but it feels very involving, and that's because it's notchy. It doesn't feel like you almost have to wrestle it in, and I quite like that. And don't get me wrong, it is a joy to drive a manual gearbox. It really is, because we just don't drive them anymore. Hardly any cars come with a manual box. So when you do drive one, you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. But if it were down to me, my money, and I had to choose between a manual and an auto, I'd choose the auto every single day of the week. And that's not just with this. Porsche, 718 GT4, I'd have the PDK. A GT3, I'd have the PDK. Anything, I would always have the auto box. And yes, please come at me in the comments, give me some stick, let's talk about it. Which would you choose? Would you choose the auto, or would you choose the manual? I think this M2 suits both gearboxes incredibly well. This manual is really nice to use, and it is still properly quick. You can really get through the gears super quick. It's still a very quick car, still feels really engaging. But yeah, I would have the auto every single day of the week. And that's just my opinion. So please let us know your opinion in the comments below. And I'll just say it again, this M2, no matter which gearbox you have, whether it's the auto or the manual, it is such a great car to drive. It really is. I love the feel of the engine. Everything in here is just, it's a lovely place to be. It's incredibly comfortable. It suits both gearboxes, and no matter which one you go for, you're going to come out the other end smiling. I think it all just comes down to personal preference, and my personal preference is the auto box. So there we go. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. If you want any more information on the new BMW M2, please use the link in the description of this video to contact your nearest reworked BMW retailer. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel for plenty more content to come. Please don't be too harsh on me in the comments. It's just my opinion. And I'll see you guys again really soon.